Hi everyone and welcome back to Small Ball 2.0. So I know that everyone loves these small ball classes, so we are adding another one into the mix. So let's get started. We're going to start lying down. If you just keep your ball in your hands as you come and lie down onto your back. And then once you're down, lift those hips up and you're going to slide your ball just underneath your sacrum, so where your lower back and your pelvis meets. Take a moment to find a comfortable position where you really feel that that ball is supporting the weight of your pelvis. And we're going to relax into our mats. Feet resting down, big toe and little toe. Arms along down by the side of the body. Relax those shoulders, open the chest and take your gaze up towards the ceiling. And we're going to begin with some movement through our lower back and pelvis. Take a lovely inhale through the nose to begin. And as you exhale, you're going to round your pelvis, pubic bone to belly button, and almost get the feeling that you're trying to push the ball towards your heels as you imprint your lower back. And then pull the ball back up towards your rib cage as you tip your pelvis forwards into a little mini arch. And then we roll back again. Draw the lower back down, push the ball away, and then draw the ball up and tip those hip bones forwards towards your thighs. Moving gently and slowly front to back, allowing the weight of the pelvis to be really supported by the ball as you move through here. Just a little bit of movement through the ball, nothing too big to start with. Keep that breath going, inhaling one way and then exhale the other. Keeping our rib cage relaxed and our head heavy. Now draw the pelvis back into a neutral position, somewhere between the two. And you're now going to drop your right hip bone towards the floor and lift your left side up. And then pull that left hip bone down and lift the right one. The ball's now going to go side to side here. Lifting one hip and then the other. And really try and get as much rotation into that lower hand by really drawing one hip down and lifting the other hip up. Another nice way to think about it is sending one knee forwards over the toes and the other. Checking in to see if you find the forwards or backwards or the side to side easier or harder. And then let's bring those hips all the way back to the middle into your neutral pelvis. We're going to slide our left leg long to the bottom of our mat and then draw your right knee over your hip. Start to flex that foot as you reach the heel up towards the ceiling and lengthen the leg, and then point the toe at the top and relax the heel back into the bottom. Flex the foot, straighten the leg, find that release in the back of the leg, and then point the toe and relax the foot all the way back down. Working through our ankles now. Still in that warm-up phase of the class where we just let go of everything that's happening outside of the mat and give yourself permission to slow down and reconnect inwards. And then on this next one, relax that heel all the way down and start to create some tiny little circles through the leg here, initiating the movement through the hips. You can almost imagine that there's a plate on your ceiling and you're going to trace that plate with your knees. Might feel a little bit wobbly here, but we're trying our best to keep everything else still. And then reverse your knee in the opposite direction. Allowing that underneath the leg to help stabilize the rest of the body. And then return that foot all the way back to the mat and we'll switch those legs over. The right leg goes long, we bend the left knee in over the hip. Flex your foot, reach that leg up towards the ceiling, point the toes, lower all the way back down. Flex and lengthen, point and bend. Inhaling as we lengthen, exhaling as we lower. How are those hamstrings doing? Are they tight? And then as you lower the leg this time, relax the foot. Think of that plate on the ceiling and then start to create your circles in one direction. Keeping the shoulders relaxed. Trying to not let those ribs pop up. And then reverse the circle. Good. A really nice way to start to find that mind-body connection, become aware of your body is in space. And then relax that foot all the way back down. Bend your right knee back in so both feet are bent hip distance and parallel. And we're now going to start to lift the hips off the ball. Think of filling that ball up with air and then melt the pelvis all the way back down onto the ball. As you lift, your weight is going to shift forwards into the feet, and then the weight will come back into the pelvis as you relax down. Inhaling on the way up, and then exhale on the way back down. A lovely exercise to switch on your back extensors in readiness for what's to come. And we're going to make the next one your last one. This time, hold the hips up, slide that ball out from underneath, and then you're going to bring the knees in towards the chest, pop the ball between the inner thighs, and rest the feet all the way back down onto the mat. Breathe in to prepare. As you exhale, start to tuck the pelvis under, peel the spine away from the mat, and at the same time you'll lift your arms all the way back towards your ears. They'll just be hovering above the mat. And then as you melt that spine back down vertebrae by vertebrae, the arms will come down with us and you'll tip your pelvis into neutral. Exhale, lift the hips, take your arms back overhead, and then simultaneously lower arms and legs, finding that neutral spine, finding a little pocket of air beneath the lower back. And then squish that air out as you'd roll all the way up. Let's take 3 more here, mobilizing the shoulders and the hips before we come into some of the more juicier exercises. One more here. You're going to hold your hips nice and high, bring your right palm back down towards the mat, and then we're going to switch the arms. One arm goes forwards, one arm goes back. If you can reach those hands all the way down to the floor, then go ahead. If not, just find where your shoulders can comfortably go. We don't want to force them into a position they don't want to go into. Getting a good stretch here whilst keeping that lower body switched on. For 4, 3, 2, 1. And then lower both arms to the mat, melt that spine all the way back down, hug your knees in towards your chest, and you're going to roll yourself all the way up to seated, keeping that ball between the inner thighs. And then take your arms back behind your hips, about a hand's distance away. Squeeze the ball, start to bend the elbows, draw your belly button into your spine, pull the ribs back and down, all the way onto your elbows. You might need to slide those hands a little bit further forwards. And then think of pulling your tummy down and in as you round your shoulders up and over your rib cage. And then we lengthen out at the top. Round the shoulders, tuck the pelvis, really slowly roll back onto the elbows. Once your elbows are rested, we come back up, rounding those shoulders over the ribs, lifting up through the lower abdominals, finding your C-shaped curve, and then lengthening back up. So now we're starting to get into the main phase of the class.
using this exercise to find that connection to your core. So there should be as little weight as possible into your arms, and the work and control is all coming from your core. So really slow on the way back, and then as you come up, try and not use those arms, use that tummy, and you'll know you've got it because you're going to feel a good little shake. Imagine that you've got a little tennis ball underneath your chin, so we still have some space into that neck. And this is going to be your final one. And as you push all the way up, I now want you to straighten your arms, open your chest, and lift your hips up towards the ceiling. Now you can either take your head back, or you can keep looking forwards towards your stomach, whichever feels better for you. And then tap your hips back down, and then you're going to lift all the way back up again. Breathing in as we lower, and then breathe out, lift those hips. Trying to keep weight into the feet as well as the wrists. So think of reaching those knees over the front of your toes. For 3, we're going to hold up in 2, getting ready to squeeze that ball on the next one. Lift those hips all the way up. Squeeze your ball in and out. In and out for 8. 7, keep pushing away from the floor in 6. 5, 4, lift those hips. 3, 2, 1, and then lower all the way back down. Come off those wrists, give them a good little shake out. And then reach those arms out in front of you. Start to melt your spine all the way back down onto the mat. Bringing the hands behind the head. Make sure that you can see the elbows in the corners of your vision. Finding your neutral pelvis and spine, you're going to pick both legs up into a double knee fold. Squeeze that ball, connect your heels, breathe in and start to lower your heels down. Just going as far as you can keep your neutral spine and pelvis, and then bring those legs all the way back up. So you may just come halfway, or you may be able to bring those heels all the way down towards the mat. Listen to your body. When you start to feel that lower back overworking, that's when you've come a little bit too far. So perhaps make the range of movement slightly smaller. It's feeling a little shaky over here for me. Ribs down, tummy drawn in, squeeze that ball. Last one. Inhale, dip those heels into an imaginary pool of water. Exhale, lift. You're going to curl up, lift the chest, keep some space underneath your chin, and then continue with those legs. Tap and return. Tap and return. For 4, 3, 2, 1, bring the legs back into a double knee fold. We combine the 2, last one in this series. As you lower the heels, you lower the head, keep those ribs drawn in, and then pull ball and chest in towards each other. Inhale, arms and legs come away from the midline. Exhale, lift all the way back up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. We have 3 more. Abdominals working really hard now. 2, 1, and then rest the head, hug the knees into the chest, and rock your body from side to side. And then we take the ball out from between the knees, and you're going to pop it behind the legs. So squeeze your legs together, place the ball behind the knees, hands onto the shins, and roll yourself all the way up to seated. Then you're going to walk your heels in as close as you can possibly get them towards your sit bones. So you're really squeezing that ball. Find your C-shaped curve, tuck the pelvis, find that lovely length and lift of the shoulders over the hips. And then we hover our feet off the floor and draw our heels together. With the shoulders relaxed, take a breath in, and then on the exhale, start to roll back onto the tips of the shoulder blades. And then inhale, come all the way up without letting your feet rest down. So you tip back and then really squeeze that ball using the core to bring yourself up. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Lower abdominals working here to lift us back up. And the ball is a pretty good one because you can't cheat. Massaging out the spine at the same time. Really pulling shins and hands in towards each other. Last one. Hold for a moment at the top. Keep squeezing that ball, heels lifted, and then rest the legs all the way back down. Take your ball out, pop it to one side for a moment, and we're just going to take those knees from side to side. Good. And then bring the legs all the way back to center and come and meet me in our 4-point kneeling position. Grab a hold of your ball and you're going to pop the ball now behind your left knee and lower yourself down onto your elbows so that your body's in this 11, not your body, your hands, sorry, are in an 11 shape. So you've got the elbows and the wrists lined up. All 10 fingers are down, palms are flat, and your knees are underneath your hips. And then we start to lift that ball leg up. You lower it back down, tap your mat, and then lift back up. Little tap, and lower. So our ball is going to activate the hamstrings. Your glutes are going to be working, but we're also getting that beautiful movement through the front of the hip. So if you've been sat down at all today, this is a beautiful one to open up those hips again. Keep pushing your hands into the floor, getting that beautiful lift through the shoulders. You've got 8 more to go. 7, keeping your head lifted, your tummy drawn in. We go for 5. Getting ready to hold in 4. 3, 2, 1. Hold that leg up. We flex the foot, lower the knee an inch, lift up an inch. Lower an inch, lift up an inch. Squeezing into that glute on the way up. 8, 7, hello burn. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold that leg and then gently lower it all the way back down. Take the ball out from underneath you, pop it underneath your chest, and then sit back into your rest position. Allowing the hips to melt down onto the heels, relax the chest, melt those shoulders down. Breathe in. And breathe out, let it all go. Soften the body down. One more. Inhale through the nose. And exhale, releasing out through the mouth. And then let's come back into our all fours, tucking that ball behind the right knee this time. And then refinding that 11 shape through your arms. Knees underneath the hips. And then when you're ready, let's start to pick up the opposite leg. And then tap it back down onto the mat. And this is where we can really start to think about the alignment of our hips and whether we're collapsing into that supporting leg or whether we're managing to keep the weight even from both sides. Think about if your knee was back down on the mat, where would your weight be positioned? And then take any little adjustments that you need here. How's that other hip feeling? Is it a little bit tighter? Maybe it's a little bit looser. Just noticing those patterns in your body. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the leg up, flex the foot, lower the knee down an inch, up an inch, down an inch, up an inch. Keep that core activated so we're not arching into our back. And we got those little pulses to finish. Let's count down from 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax the knee down, take the ball out and lower down onto your tummy.
Good job, guys. Now, you're gonna have your knees bent over your hips, in line with your hips, and then your ball is gonna rest on your lower back, so you're holding the ball with both hands, and you're gonna lie on your cheek so that you're facing towards me. Take a breath in from there, and then as you exhale, extend your legs backwards, reach your ball for your toes, and open your chest looking forwards. And then breathe in, you're gonna turn your cheek the other way, bend the knees, rest the ball on the lower back. Exhale, look forwards, open your chest, reach back for your feet. And then you turn back towards me. So we're coming into our dart here, using the ball to encourage the body to just get that little bit higher, that little bit longer. If you're struggling, if your shoulders are finding it really difficult to lengthen whilst holding the ball, you can do this without the ball. So just put it to one side, and you can do this just with your body. One more either side. Reach, reach, reach. And lower. Final one. And then come all the way back. Place your ball to one side, rest the legs, and push yourself all the way back into your rest position. And relax here. Taking a moment to come back to your breath, back to your body. And then slowly restack all the way up. Shuffle your knees forward so that they're into the center of the mat. Grab a hold of your ball and lengthen your arms out in front of you so that your palms are facing each other, squeezing that ball. Let's favor a little tuck of our tailbone. Draw your center inwards, and then we're gonna hinge backwards. Head, neck, chest, keep looking forwards. Once you feel those quads working, you're gonna float your ball up as high as you can go. Lower the ball down, and then restack. We hinge back, lift the arms, keep pulling those ribs in, lower, and then pull back up. So as you can see from me, it's a pretty small movement. I'm not getting very far, but I can feel the stretch and the work through those quads. So find what works for you and keep squeezing that ball. That's going to connect your arms into your back, deepening that body awareness. 3 more. 2. 1. And then come all the way back up. Take the ball behind the back of the pelvis, reach the ball for the floor, open the chest into an extension. Breathe in here, fill the body up. And then exhale, release the ball, release the hands, and we're gonna meet in standing, pushing back onto the toes and bring yourself up. Let's finish with a nice little stretch here. I'm going to get you to stand facing me with the feet hip distance and parallel, popping the ball to the right side of the body, and you want your arms to be relaxed and long with your palm on the ball. So that might be, it might be in a slightly different position to me depending on your height. Breathe in as you float your left arm all the way up to your ear. As you come up and over on the exhale, you're going to try and push and slide that ball down towards your heels, and then draw it all the way back up as you lower the arm. And we go again. Inhale, arm comes up. Exhale, reach that top arm up and over. Slide the ball down your thigh. And then restack, pulling up, using your core. One more on this side. Find that beautiful opening through the left side of the body. And then as the arm comes down, bring the ball into your left hand. Level off your shoulders, breathe in, that right arm comes up. As we breathe out, we slide the ball down the leg. Keep lengthening through both sides of the waist. And then come all the way back up, lower the arm. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, up and over, keep drawing those ribs in. Push into the opposite foot. Last one.
And then we come back to center. We now place the ball over the front of our legs. I'm going to stand side on. So both hands push the ball into the thighs. Breathe in, stand up tall. And then as you exhale, chin to chest, round the shoulders. And as you start to roll down, you're going to walk that ball down, aiming to slide it down towards your ankles. Really relax the crown of the head towards the floor. And then slowly restack, pulling the ball back in the direction of the pelvis and lengthen up at the top. Let's take 2 more to finish. Walking that ball down the legs, finding that C-shaped curve through the spine, and then bring it back up, looking forwards. Last one. Enjoying this movement. And then at the top, relax the body, shake it all off. Good job, guys, you're all done for today.